Welcome to AI for You, the go-to podcast for higher ed professionals looking to integrate AI into their daily work. I'm your host, Brian Piper, the Director of Content Strategy and Assessment at the University of Rochester. Join me every other Thursday for practical uses of AI within higher education communications, marketing, and student engagement. We'll focus on ways to quickly integrate AI into your teams to increase your efficiency and effectiveness and help you optimize your workflows and processes. I'll interview experts and feature relevant use cases with the goal that every episode gives you at least one thing you can take away and start leveraging in your job today. AI for You is a part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. Welcome to the first episode of AI for You. I'm going to start each episode with one easy-to-implement AI use case that you can start leveraging today, and then I'll jump into my interview and follow that up with my takeaways and perspective on what was discussed. So here's my first use case, and one of my favorites when it comes to adding value for marketing teams. Use generative AI to help create audience personas. So I'll add the prompt that I use in the show notes, but basically, tell the AI tool of your choice, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or any other model or combination of models, that you want to create the ideal user persona for whatever audience you're trying to target. Potential undergraduate students, alumni, whoever. Be sure to let it know as much information as you can about your institution. So depending on what model you're using, you can give it the URL to your website. And be sure to point it to your About Us page, or if you have your strategic priorities or mission and vision on your website, make sure you supply those. And then if you have any data about that audience, you can include that as well. Of course, being sure to remove any personal information from that data before uploading it to one of these public models. And since you're building a persona, be sure to ask it to include information about success factors, decision criteria, challenges, and obstacles, all the typical information you would want in a persona. These tools can do a pretty good job of creating a base level persona in less time than you would spend creating a traditional persona by doing interviews, gathering and aggregating all of that quantitative and qualitative data and putting that all together. And I'm not saying this process should replace traditional persona building. There's no better way to understand your target audience than talking to them. But we have too many audiences and too few resources to be able to create traditional personas for all of them. So let AI help you with that. And then as a bonus, if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you can create a custom GPT using your persona and then make that interactive and ask it questions about your current content and potential future content. Now on to the interview. I'm very excited to be joined today by Mark Schaefer. Mark is a globally recognized keynote speaker, educator, business consultant, and author. His blog is one of the top marketing blogs in the world. He's been doing marketing, sales, and PR for more than 40 years. He's attended and taught at numerous institutions, including Rutgers, University of Tennessee. He's the best-selling author of 10 books. He's also the founder and co-host of The Marketing Companion, one of the top 10 marketing podcasts on iTunes. And like myself, he is an AI enthusiast, and he sees the potential for AI to help us with our marketing and to actually help us form stronger human connections. Well, hello, Mark, and thank you so much for joining me and being the first guest on AI for You.
That's really exciting. Congratulations on the new show. It's going to be great.
You've been doing marketing and content marketing for 4 decades. What sort of impact do you think AI is going to have on higher education marketing, advancement, and enrollment over the next few years?
Well, when the CEO of Google or Microsoft talks about AI, they talk about it in terms of this is the most profound technology in the history of the world, more profound than fire or the wheel or anything. And so obviously it's going to impact almost every aspect of our job. And at the university level, it'll be an interesting challenge because, I've worked for a university for 14 years. And, I know that things tend to be sort of glacial in terms of change and accepting change at a university. University is bolted to the center of the earth, and, things don't change that quickly. I think the opportunity is that the most human company wins. Also the most human university. And, I've worked with universities in the past and tried to encourage them to really, instead of just, putting stuff out and, basically all the social media is kind of like a glorified brochure, is really to make human connections with potential students. And I think AI can help that. AI can help us be more human at scale if we use it in the right way. It can help us detect conversations that we need to be part of. It can help make us more efficient in our jobs so that we can use more of ourselves, more of our humanity in connecting with students. I think that's such a key that when a student is considering a university, they're scared. It's the biggest decision they've ever made. And I think just if they can experience just some ounce of humanity from a university, somebody reaching out to them and said, hey, I saw on social media you're going to be visiting our school. Is there anything I can do to help you? I want you to have a friend here. Stop by my office. We have a little gift for you. Can I take you and your family out for coffee or something while you're here? That may make all the difference. And so we have to look for ways to use AI in a smart way, not to distance ourselves, but to tear down the walls between us and being able to act like humans with our potential students.
I think even, beyond like potential undergraduate students, if you look at existing students that you have and the ability for us to figure out how to target students who are going to need some help or who have missed some classes or something like that. Currently we have to wait until the grades are submitted or until there's some flag brought up by someone. If AI could be scanning our landscape and looking for opportunities like that and then reaching out to a human to say, you might want to connect with these students and let them know about the resources they have available. So yeah, I think that's a fantastic observation of using AI to make us more human.
Let's hope so.
You work with a lot of people in marketing. What is advice you give to people who are just getting started with AI? And how do you recommend that marketers start thinking about integrating these tools into their workflows?
The biggest problem I see, and you're right, I've worked with such a diverse group of people, from the biggest companies to entrepreneurs and small businesses and hospitality and pharmaceutical, and I've worked with universities, and the biggest problem that I see universally is overwhelm. And it's really easy to be overwhelmed. I think everyone in marketing should be experiencing at least a little anxiety about just the rate of change. It's funny, I was on a podcast earlier today and I said, it must be nice to be an accountant. And just think about the numbers are the numbers, and the numbers don't lie. As long as we stick to the numbers, we're going to be okay. Marketing changes almost by the minute. And so the first challenge is getting over the overwhelm. And the way I explain this to people, the advice I give is to think about the change going on with AI like a surfer. So a surfer has a surfboard. It's a really good surfboard. To be successful, he doesn't have to change his surfboard. He has to look to be relevant, to be successful. He has to find the right wave to catch. Now, in the business world, what is your competency? What are you known for? Are you known for, your high level of academics, for the beauty of your campus, for your friendly staff, for, certain majors, for certain innovative processes, approaches to education? That's your surfboard. This is your strength. This is what you're known for. So really, in a way, AI, this is going to sound really weird. In many cases, AI really isn't like transformational. It's not like getting into the digital age. AI, innovation in the AI age is going to be applying a layer of AI to everything we do. So if your specialty is, let's just say, responsiveness, then look for AI tools that will make you even more responsive, or even more friendly, or even more helpful, or even more innovative, and then block out the rest, because there's a lot. And there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of legal issues. I'm not saying don't dabble, don't have fun. Sure, experiment. But to really be effective in your business, you've got to be focused on how do we catch the right wave for us to be relevant and successful.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many higher ed institutions struggle with identifying the differentiating factors, that they have.
Yeah.
And there's ways that, the AI tools can help look at your breadth of content and help, guide you or make suggestions or recommendations on that. But it's really up to the institutions to try to figure out what they're going to embrace and what it is about them that makes them different and unique for their students.
Well, that's really the first step, isn't it, Brian? I mean, because if you don't know where you fit in the ecosystem, then how are you going to use forget about AI. You can't really do any marketing unless you know what you want to say, who you want to say it to, where you're going to say it. And that all depends on where do we fit? What makes us different?
Yeah. And really, figuring out the brand, your own uniqueness in the market is it's the key to everything. I mean, you have to start there, and it doesn't matter what tools you have, you're not going to overcome that.
The tactic I use when I'm working on a brand marketing idea for the first time is I'll get the leaders around the table and I'll have them bring out a piece of paper. I'll say, finish this sentence. Only we. And if there's 5 people and they say 5 different things, they have no marketing strategy. Or if they give you like deer in the headlights, then that's where you have to start. If you're being asked to do public relations or content marketing or AI, and you can't answer that question, you can't finish that sentence, you're being set up to fail. Because you've got to know where you fit in, or you're just wasting your time and money.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to start with brand, and then you have to know where you're going, what you're trying to accomplish, what your goals are, and then who can help you get there. I mean, it's brand, goals, audience, and then you can start figuring out, what tactics, what workflows, what AI tools are going to help you get there.
Right.
In your last book, Belonging to the Brand, it's all about the importance of community for businesses.
Well, it may not be my last book.
Well, your most recent.
My newest.
Your most recent book. At the time of this recording, let's even say that.
Yeah.
Yes.
If the bus comes, then it would be my last book. But
your most recent book.
Yeah.
How should higher ed institutions think about leveraging communities within their students, faculty, staff, and how might AI be able to help facilitate that?
Well, that's a great question. And it's one I think about a lot, is community for everybody. And sort of the question I use as a filter is it important for you to have an emotional relationship or some sort of emotional bond or connection with your customers? In this case, students, faculty, alumni. And, if you're selling pencils, maybe not. If you're selling ladders, maybe not. If I buy a ladder, chances are I just want to be left alone. But, I saw this research that the emotional bond to universities, it's almost the highest that there is. It's right up there with the emotional connection you feel like to a celebrity, to your favorite music artist, to a sports team. It's really that kind of devotion. So on the highest level, number one, absolutely, there's an opportunity. I would say there's almost a mandate to create community, and it's probably not one community. A community is built on a shared purpose. That's the most important thing. What can you do as a university? How can you make a bigger impact on the world if your students come with you, or your alumni comes with you, or your faculty comes with you? So there could be different things. And then if you think about, let's just use for a moment alumni. Where's the intersection? What could the alumni accomplish in a bigger way, in a better way, if they partner with you? How will they grow? How will they learn? How will they change something in the world that they're passionate about in a better way if they can partner with you than trying to do it themselves? Those are the types of questions to ask when you consider how are we going to structure the community? Who's going to be in the community? The purpose is the centerpiece. That's why people would be motivated to be there, every day, every week, whatever it takes. But, I think there's a vast opportunity. I mean, I am the alumni. I am an alum of 3 different universities. And I mean, the best I can hope for is maybe, a quarterly magazine from these universities or something. I mean, there's just no human connection. There's no, a community depends on like people in the community actually knowing each other. When you send out a magazine, you don't have a community. You have an audience. That's different. A community is where people gather because you have this affinity for the purpose, for the sponsor, and for each other. And that is a vastly overlooked opportunity by almost every university.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're connected with people from the time they're making one of the biggest choices of their life as where to go to school and, leave their family and everything that they've known, all the way through. Potentially, you were talking the other day about something that who was at Penn State is doing, where they have a retirement community that's connected to the university.
Yeah, that's what a massive example, right? And yeah, there's a few universities now that are saying, look, retiring next to a university could be a great lifestyle. So we have this retirement community. They have the option to sit in on classes, to go to special events, to go to theater productions, to go to musical productions. And then, of course, they're also, it's a prime opportunity for fundraising and volunteering that needs to happen on a campus. So, that's an amazing community, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And being able to connect incoming students with these alumni who have all these life experiences and networks and connections.
And wouldn't the alumni love that too, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about how AI could be integral to helping match up people within your entire life cycle of your university so that you can connect incoming students with alumni who are, passionate about the same ideas and experiences, or, are mission driven for a particular purpose. They want to, save the world or clean up the environment or something like that. So many opportunities to connect these people and bring them into a community. But with the way that our data is structured and siloed, and the way that, our time and resources are constrained, it's difficult to do that at this point. But AI provides all sorts of opportunities for, making ourselves more useful and really optimizing our time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, and AI could also just facilitate so much, collaboration, and mentoring. So yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity.
What are some of the biggest challenges? You mentioned a little bit about the pace of movement in higher ed. What are some of the biggest challenges you see for institutions who don't decide to start looking at using AI and integrating it into their processes, whether it's the marketing processes or even the academic side of things?
Well, I mean, I don't know how you can bet against AI being important right now. I think look, the cultures of universities can be, very, very difficult. I remember one time I was actually hired by a university to do a workshop about social media to their entire marketing. It wasn't the marketing department. It was the marketing part of the business school, the people that teach marketing. So after I was about 2 hours into this presentation, and there was a lady sitting at the end of the table. Her arms were crossed. She had this pouty look on her face. She was head of the advertising department. And she said, "This is a fad. This is going away. And we need," and this is not that long ago, by the way. We need to focus on the fundamentals of magazine advertising. And so finally, I just turned to her. I said, "Madam, you could not be more wrong." And I wasn't going to pull out a lot of facts and figures today because I thought we were beyond that. But let's go into some facts and figures. And, by lunchtime, we were friends again. But, there's not a lot of incentive for many tenured professors to really grasp what's going on, to pivot. In some ways, in some manner, they may have to pivot with everything they've ever done.
Yeah.
I think one of the big questions, Brian, is what is a career going to look like? So you're going to pick your major based on what you aspire to do someday. How do we know what we can even aspire to right now? Things are fluid. Universities are not. So this is going to be a crunch point to, it's going to be a crunch point for how we teach, how we organize, how we flex, how we pivot. As I teach at Rutgers University. I'm on the advisory board of the business school there. And, we have this movement where the school wants to be more entrepreneurial. They realize they're not moving fast enough to meet the needs of Gen Z. And yet, one of the professors at the last meeting was lamenting that it's taken him 2 years to get a new class approved through the accreditation process. That is not entrepreneurial. That is not pivoting and flexing to meet the needs of this new generation. So, I mean, we're going to be in some trouble if we don't find new solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. Fascinating conversation. One of the questions that I'm going to be ending all of my episodes with is, what are some ways that you're using AI to help you with your workflows and your processes that are the most impactful?
Well, I think the best is yet to come because, right now I'm sort of dabbling on certain tasks. I mean, the gray area for me that this is going to be the great hope and the great opportunity is there's certain tasks I need to do. I need to give a speech. I need to teach a class. I need to write a book. But there's this gray area where people kind of need me, but boy, I wish I could delegate it. They kind of need my voice. They kind of need my personality. They kind of need my input. Certain things like let's say my travel. All right, you can delegate that to anybody right now. Eventually, it'll be an AI agent, but it's that gray area where it sort of has to be me that just takes up so much time. That's my great hope. Today, it's just like I talked about with the surfer analogy. What am I known for? How can AI make me better? Right now, I'm working on a new book. One of the things I've learned about myself is I'm good at this. This is one of my surfboards, is I'm really good at writing books. But you know what? Here I am. I'm tired. I'm getting dizzy because I keep seeing the same paragraph over and over again, and I don't like it. Take the paragraph, put it in AI, say, AI, make this a little clearer, make it a little more clever, make it a little more, fun or authoritative, and it'll help. Not 100% of the time, but it'll help get me over the hump and just make me a little bit better when I need that help. And so whether it's with, brainstorming, consulting, helping me organize around, a new speech, research, especially, if I've got a lot of data or great little example. I was working with a client and they had just done this research survey and they handed me 1,500 survey results an hour before I was supposed to be in the meeting. Copied, pasted in the ChatGPT, and I said, what are the 3 most important lessons, the 3 biggest conclusions we can create from these responses to this question? And boom, in 3 seconds, I had it. Saved me several hours of work, got into the meeting, and I nailed it. They said, you're absolutely right. How did you do that? So, again, so I'm known to be, an effective consultant because of all my experience, but how can I be more effective? How can I be even faster? How can I be even more accurate, as a speaker, as a consultant, as an analyst, as a writer? So, and here's the one thing I would say for anybody listening. There's a tendency today to sort of use AI as a glorified search engine. Push it. Push the boundaries. Talk to it like you would talk to an employee, to an intern, someone, to a consultant, to a writer, to a copywriter or an editor, to an analyst. Push it. See how great you can make it, how useful it can be. Don't be lazy and just settle for using it as a search engine. Test it. Push it every day.
Absolutely. That's the only way that we're going to really learn the capabilities of these tools, is by continually testing and pushing. Mark, thank you so much for your time, your insights, and your perspectives. I couldn't think of a better first guest for the show. I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, thank you, Brian. It's been a delight. Thanks for being so prepared. It's always great to have questions I've never been asked before. That makes it fun, so thank you.
I always enjoy talking with Mark because he brings an interesting perspective based on his years of experience. I loved his surfboard analogy and how we should all focus on not being stressed by this new technology, but looking at it as tools to help us make our core strengths even stronger. I was particularly intrigued by his idea that we can use AI to help us be more human for our audiences by connecting with them when they most need that connection. We can also use it to help us identify what content and information would be most useful to them at different points in their journeys. The capabilities that AI creates for hyper-personalization are going to be more and more relevant to all of us. We're facing a lot of changes and challenges in higher ed right now, between enrollment cliff, the perception of the value of higher ed, employee retention, just to name a few. And AI can help us with all of that by allowing us the time we need to create better solutions, content, and add more value for all of our audiences. I hope you found this episode helpful. Please reach out to me with unique ways that you're integrating AI into your professional and personal lives. And as always, blue skies and keep creating. Thank you for listening to another episode of AI for You. I hope you found at least one useful thing you can take away and start adding to your workflows and processes today. Remember, the key to making the most of AI is to keep experimenting, keep learning, and of course, keep creating. AI for You is a part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to become a better higher ed professional. Our shows help higher ed professionals find their next big idea and feature a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Artis Kedu, Dave Kibbles, Shane Baglini, and so many other of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.